Greetings, BookTube. Welcome back to the History Shelf. My name is Peg. Thank you for joining me today in my humble little channel. We're going to be looking at some new historical fiction titles that have come across the desk here. My brand new extended desk because, I need lots of room for all the books that keep coming across. So it's fantastic. I'm really enjoying the new desk. But yes, I have a stack of a variety. They're very eclectic titles. They're all over the place here. And one of them I didn't even realize until after it was sent to me is like the fourth in a series of books. But I wanted to show you guys in case you're already a reader of this author's work and you might be curious to know if you follow this series. Well, let's just start with that one since I've teased it enough. The good folks at Farrar, Straus and Giroux, a publicist, contacted me about this new book. It's set in modern times. However, there is a tie back to history that goes back to like the 17th century for this one particular family. I've never read, that I'm aware of, I've never read anything by Christopher Tillman before. Let's see here. This is Christopher Tillman. I don't know if you guys have heard, but anyway, he has a new book coming out on May 7th. Let me see, do I have this right? Oh, no. This is out now. It's came out on April 16th. Okay, so yes, about 10 days ago. Okay. It's On the Tobacco Coast by Christopher Tillman. It's the fourth in the series that began with Mason's Retreat. The other books in this series are The Right-Hand Shore, and the third one is Thomas and Beale in the Midi. All right, and then now the fourth one is On the Tobacco Coast, a novel. Now, perhaps I should back up and read to you a synopsis of what Mason's Retreat is about that would lead us, the description on the the Mason's Retreat is very skimpy on Amazon, but let's go ahead. I'll just read this. I'll just read to you what this book, it is. They say this book is the culmination of the series. I would love to hear from you in the comments below if you have read any of Christopher Tillman's work, and especially if you're excited about this new book that came out on April 16th. The culmination of Christopher Tillman's great Chesapeake Chronicle, spanning 4 centuries of an American family on the Tobacco Coast, was named one of Vogue's best books of 2024. It is a final meditation on the themes of Tillman's novels about Mason's Retreat: place and history, the persistence of family stories, race and white privilege, climate change, the mysteries and manners of regents. It is on one level a domestic idyll, and on another a reflection on the state of America today. Its battles with its own history and efforts to reckon with the wrongs of the past, while looking forward to a more just future. The farm, Mason's Retreat, and its history are based on Tillman's own family farm on the Eastern Shore, with a healthy dose of invention and wit to bolster the entire saga. So I think I might have to go back and get the first few books in the series. I could get into the guts of this novel, but I don't want to give away anything. I think I'll leave it there. But I might have to go back and get Mason's Retreat and just start off, but I'll hang on to this one for sure. But this one is out now. If you're a fan of Christopher Tillman's work or the Mason's Retreat saga, this is it. I guess this is the final book in that 4-book series. So that is new and available right now. Oh, I wanted to share with you that I did get a final copy of Dan Jones's Wolves of Winter. And I am tempted to see who might want to do a read-along of both the Essex Dogs and Wolves of Winter. I need to figure out when the third book is coming out, because I'd like to kind of do this before the third, as a way to get it amped for the third book. Um, but I'm trying to figure out the timing of that. But I've got the Wolves of Winter, so now I have both in hardcover, and I'm so thankful for that. Let's see here. An endless war, a blood-soaked battlefield, a band of brothers. So the first one was all about just setting up the characters, and now it's moving into 1347. Bruised and bloodied by an epic battle at Crecy, 6 soldiers of fortune, known as the Essex Dogs, pick through the wreckage of the fighting and their own lives. Now a new siege is beginning, and the dogs are sent to attack the soaring walls of Calais. King Edward has vowed no Englishman will leave France till this city falls. To get home, they must survive a merciless winter in a lawless camp, deadlier than any battlefield. Now, it goes further in and gives you more detail, but I don't want to spoil anything or give away any, I like to keep an element of surprise for folks. If anyone is interested in a Dan Jones, Essex Dog, and Wolves of Winter read-along, let me know in the comments below. I'm just curious. At some point I want to tackle both and get these under my belt, because I have another video I want to do soon about books BookTube made me do it, or books that BookTube made me buy. Other people's videos have turned me on to a range of historical fiction writing, especially over in the UK. So that's another video coming up soon. But I just wanted to share that I did, the publicist did send me a finished copy of Wolves of Winter, so I'm thrilled for that. I've also seen that Dan Jones has a new book coming out on Henry V. This guy, he is keeping busy. Let me see if I can see when that is coming. I know it's coming out soon in Britain, but let's see here. Not Daniel Jones, Dan Jones, because that's not going to come up. Yes, well, it's not going to come over. It's not going to be available in America until October 1st, but it's going to be Henry V, The Astonishing Triumph of England's Greatest Warrior King. It'll be available in a UK version probably this summer, if not already. It's the best place to go if you want to look for UK versions of books. If you just like their style better, you need to check out Blackwell's. I have ordered a lot of stuff from Blackwell's. It is a bookshop or a bookseller online over in the UK with free shipping to the US. I mean, I am not joking. Free shipping. So, in fact, I'm looking at a stack of the books I want to film for the upcoming video on, BookTube made me do it. Yeah, so, and the prices are really decent. Sometimes they undercut Amazon, and you're getting free shipping. So I'm thinking I need another series on this channel called like the Thrifty Book Shopper, because I've got tips galore. Oh, I've got so many ideas, guys. I just need more time to film all these videos. All right, let's move on. This is a tiny little book. It's coming out in June. I mean, look at this. It's not poetry either. This is the folks from Other Press sent me a press release on this book. I'm like, sure, I'll take a look. And I was just like, are you serious? It's 55 pages, but if you were to take out all of this extra white space, it's maybe 30 pages if you just crammed it all together. But it is called Endless Fall, A Little Chronicle by Mohammed Lefta. Okay. Let me just take a quick sip of my tea. Yes, I haven't had a London fog in a couple of weeks, guys, so I thought I'd treat myself today. In this poignant account of a classmate's suicide, the acclaimed Moroccan author gives both a biting critique of small-town bigotry in the 1960s and a moving tribute to the fleeting beauty of adolescence. So again, very, very small book. It's coming out June 18th. It says, in Satat, in the 1960s, when it was still a tiny village, a young man leapt to his death in front of his stunned class, and their teacher was left holding a brief, devastating suicide note. Among the students was Mohammed Lefta. Haunted by the uncommon grace of that desperate act and the tragic image of his classmate's body lying in the courtyard, Lefta penned this chronicle. of life at the time, marked by repressed desire and shame. A fiery yet thoughtful meditation on taboo acts, homosexuality, adultery, suicide, and the hypocrisy and cruelty of those who judge others' transgressions, Endless Fall also offers a fascinating window into the mind of the seminal writer. Okay, so this writer, he died of cancer in 2008. So this is just coming out now. Looks like he's written mostly in French. Okay. The Demoiselles of Numidia. That was a book from Other Press last year. Oh, and Captain Nemott's Last Battle. I think I might have read that one. And that was from Other Press in 2022. So a very small, slim volume of this deceased writer's work, Endless Fall, a little chronicle. So you can sit and read this in 15 minutes. So I'll take a look. All right. Well, this book, and if I have a link that is available to non-members, I will share it with you on my social media channels. But I read it and reviewed it for Historical Novels Review, the bi-monthly publication of the Historical Novel Society, which I'm a member, and now I am a U.S. Reviews editor at Historical Novels Review, which is a big treat. I've been doing that since last September, but I still get an opportunity to volunteer to read and review books. So I've not stopped my work as a reviewer for Historical Novels Review, but I've taken on another level of, now I'm shipping out books to reviewers. Now I'm assigning things. Now I'm editing other people's reviews, and it's been a wonderful experience. And in fact, I've got a stack of books that were just assigned last week, so I need to hit the post office tomorrow and get those out to our reviewers. This review is coming out in our May issue, which should be hitting the stands anytime now, and I should have an online link to this. I also reviewed, another book. I know I did. I know I did. It's a blur sometimes, guys, with everything I got going, but this was a delightful little book. Followed by The Lark by Helen Humphreys. And this is another Farrar, Straus, and Giroux title. This book is all about Henry David Thoreau. Now, this was like serendipity when I saw this book came out, because I just started reading and had finished reading Finding Margaret Fuller, which was fabulous book. I know that the author is making the rounds, and it's garnering a lot of attention. And in fact, I loaned my copy to my sister. She fell in love with Finding Margaret Fuller. So we're spreading the book love all around. But, in Finding Margaret Fuller, it talks about that circle of friends in Massachusetts, right? What's Massachusetts? Thinking also like New Hampshire, New York. Anyway, the Transcendentalists, okay? So I was like, whoa, and I wonder if I'll see Margaret mentioned in this book. But let me go ahead and read to you what it's about. And it's beautifully written. It's just beautiful. We mark time and make our mark on the earth, even as everything around us is shifting and growing, and soon enough these marks will disappear. Friendship comes and reorients us to the horizon. Loss comes and stretches out into loneliness. Henry measured and recorded the temperature on and around Walden Pond across the seasons. He built a cabin on its banks and lived there mostly alone for 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days. He took long walks, floated down rivers with his brother, lost that brother and a friend when they were both still young, read and wrote books, left for the city and came back, heard the romantic whistle of the train transformed into the clanging disruption of industry and the destruction of forests hundreds of years grown, watched a young nation rush toward conflict, helped refugees find their next stop on the road to freedom. Inspired by the life, letters, and diaries of Henry David Thoreau, followed by The Lark, shows how strikingly similar the concerns of the early 19th century are to our own, and reminds us to listen for news of change, the song of spring's first bluebird, reports from those who have heard it, and all the sounds and fearful wonders that come after. It's written with a poetry all its own. I mean, there's our author, Helen Humphreys, who has also written The Evening Chorus, Coventry, and After Image, and a few nonfiction titles. This was just a lovely little volume. Let's see here, came out to about 224 pages. And yes, Margaret Fuller does, she is mentioned in here. I was really struck by the relationship that Helen Humphreys kind of imagined between Thoreau and his sister, his younger sister. But it really captures the feeling of pain and loss of like losing loved ones, friends, but also the thrill of work, and then the thrill of nature, which really is all what that is all about. And you know, the Transcendentalists were really keyed into nature, especially Emerson and Thoreau. But Followed by the Lark, a novel. This is out now. And again, my review, I will post it as soon as I have a link to the online version. It's a great book. I do recommend it for any fan of On Walden Pond, the Transcendentalists, and if you like an author who kind of imagines themselves into that setting and tries to inhabit that person, rather like Finding Margaret Fuller. That author really did that. Alison Pataki, thank you. I was blanking on the name. She really inhabited, I thought, Margaret Fuller, and just not saying that was fully accurate. Obviously, you have to have a suspension of disbelief in these matters of historical fiction, especially from the viewpoint of that subject. But this was all quite believable to me. The fact that Helen Humphreys really steeped herself in the letters, journals. I mean, she kind of got into his mind. And so I really enjoyed her interpretation of Henry David Thoreau. So I'll just leave it at that. Okay, now here's a book that was sent to me, and I was like, well, we see a lot of these books now, right? But there was a historical element to it. I see a lot of books coming across the table here relating to like library mysteries, bookshop mysteries, or people who steal books, the something thief. Well, we have another one of this title, but I'm intrigued. And so this is from Hanover Square Press. I think it's out now. Let me just do a little bit of research for you. I like to have all the information at my fingertips, as it were. Yes. Okay, so this is on sale May 7th. It's not out yet, but I do have a finished copy, so yay for Peg. This is The Library Thief by Kuchenga Shenje. So, like I said, we've seen a lot of these type of covers, but this one is better than most, I think. At least we're not seeing we're seeing the half side. I'm tired of seeing book covers where it's a woman's back looking out into the expanse. Whenever I see a cover like that, I click off. I'm just like, no. I think book designers and whoever they're getting their instructions from, they need to rethink that, This at least has like, okay, we've got rows of books. It's very cool. Anyway, that's just my little graphic design rant for a minute on the book jackets. But we've got The Library Thief, and it sounds intriguing. So let's take a look here. And I love mystery. I love a good mystery, a thriller. We cover those genres on this channel in abundance. I mean, just witnessed the Miss Marple a Month series, which it's still there. I gotta finish Nemesis, and then also Sleeping Murder or something like that, the Sleeping Murders, and then we're gonna move on into Poirot. But we've had some life things come up, so we're gonna wait until things are a little bit more settled so that we can do our mystery stuff again. 1896. After he brought her home from Jamaica as a baby, Florence's father had her hair hot combed to make her look like the other girls. Oh no. But as a young woman, Florence is not so easy to tame, and when she brings scandal to his door, the bookbinder throws her onto the streets of Manchester. Intercepting her father's latest commission, Florence talks her way into the forbidding Rose Hall to restore its rare books. Lord Francis Belfield's library is old and full of secrets, but none so intriguing as the whispers about his late wife. Evocative, arresting, and tightly plotted, The Library Thief is at once a propulsive Gothic mystery and a striking exploration of race, gender, and self-discovery in Victorian England. All right. Wow, all right. So this is a British author, right? She resides in Manchester. Um, well, good for her. Is this her first book? I think so. Yeah. The Library Thief is the ultimate marriage of her passions for history, mystery, and rebels. Oh, well, good for her. I'll be happy to take a look at that. Kuchenga Shenje. This is her first book, The Library Thief. Hanover Square Press, available May 7th. Okay, now this one is a little, there's a couple here that are a little overdue, but they're out now. And this just sounds really intriguing. This is called Mrs. Lowe Porter, a novel by Joe Salas. And what is it about? And this is from Jackleg Press. The literary giant Thomas Mann balked at a female translator, but he might well owe his standing in the Western canon to a little-known American woman, Helen Lowe Porter. Oh. Based closely on historical source material, Joe Salas's novel, Mrs. Lowe Porter, sympathetically reveals a brilliant woman's struggle to be appreciated as a translator and also to find her own voice in a culture of male dominance. Interesting. And let's see, it's about 268 pages. It's got a nice bibliography in the back, but this sounds really interesting. It's about his translator, so I'm intrigued. And I keep meaning to get into Thomas Mann's work, and I want to kind of read his biography as well. So I just figured this is going to be a great, ancillary book to kind of change of pace. A novel, but and also highlighting this woman that no one really knew about. So this is available now, again, from Jackleg Press. There's our author. So if you're interested in that, take a look. Mrs. Lowe Porter. All right. And now this book it actually came out in March. So you know what? I think I might have highlighted this already. But if I haven't, I'm going to do it again. Just because I keep meaning to get this read. Because this woman was also mentioned in Finding Margaret Fuller, which I just loved. This is The Swan's Nest by Laura McNeill. And this is a Algonquin book. It came out March 12th. And who is it about? I'll tell you. On a bleak January day in 1845, a poet who had been confined to her room for 4 years by recurrent illness received a letter from a writer she secretly idolized but had never seen. "I love your verses with all my heart, dear Miss Barrett," Robert Browning wrote, "and I love you too." Elizabeth Barrett was ecstatic. She was famous for her poetry, but completely cut off from the kind of international travel that Browning used to fuel his obscure, unsuccessful, innovative poems, one of which was written from a murderer's point of view. They began an affectionate correspondence, but Elizabeth kept delaying a visit. What would happen when he saw her in person? What was Robert really like? Could she persuade her father and brothers that he was honorable, even though she had never met his family? And what would happen if she gave in to Robert's wild proposal that they go to Italy and see if the sun could cure her? McNeill brilliantly tells the story of how Robert and Elizabeth fell in love with each other's words and shocked her conservative, close-knit family and the literary world. Sensitive and lyrically written, as rich as the lover's own poetry, The Swan's Nest will sweep up readers in the triumphant story of two people forced to choose between a safe, stable life and the love they felt for each other. Well, who doesn't love a good love story, especially one from real life? So this is available now from Algonquin Books, The Swan's Nest, Laura McNeil. This book is coming out also May 7th from Algonquin Books. I have not had a chance to sample this one yet, but it looks like a story I will enjoy. This is Their Divine Fires by Wendy Chen. May 7th, Algonquin Books. It says in 1949, at the dawn of the Chinese Revolution, Yun Hong grows up in the southern China countryside and falls in love with the son of a wealthy landlord. Yet on the night of her wedding, her brother destroys the marriage before it has even lasted a day. Yun Hong's daughter, Yushin, will never know her father. She passes that sorrow onto her daughters, Hongxing and Young Hong, who come of age in the years following Mao's death, battling the push and pull of political forces as they forge their own paths. Each generation guards its secrets, leaving Emily, living in contemporary America, to piece together what actually happened between her mother, her sister, and the weight of their shared history. Drawing on the stories of her great-grandmother and her great-uncles, both of whom fought on the side of the communists, as well as her mother's experiences during the Cultural Revolution, Wendy Chen infuses Their Divine Fires with a passion that will transport the reader back to powerful moments in history. It says that this book is perfect for fans of C.Pam Zhang's How Much of These Hills is Gold and Wen Fan Kwao-mei's The Mountains Sing. I hope I did okay on that, but Their Divine Fires, a novel by Wendy Chen, available May 7th. But it sounds like a great read. It's going to be like 265, 70 pages. So, another interesting work to share with you. And then let's see. No, okay. Final book. We've got Rough Trade. This is a different one. We had someone else at Historical Novels Review, someone else read and reviewed this, and it's coming out in the May issue. But I was kind of involved in trying to find a copy of this for our reviewers. So, but then we've got a final copy. And this is by Katrina Carrasco, author of The Best Bad Things. This is put out by McD, which is a Farrar, Straus and Giroux imprint. So what could Rough Trade be about? I'll tell you. All right. You see that? Okay. Washington Territory, 1888. Alma Rosales is living as Jack Kemp in a proto-queer community of opium smugglers who'd rather build alliances than bust down doors. When they're given the choice, that is. When a closeted reporter hungry for a drug-busting headline infiltrates Alma's close-knit crew, the collision swiftly complicates, well, everything, and marshy moral grounds drench the surrounding characters faster than the perpetual dockside downpour. A steamy, crackling novel that explores the slippery nature of identity and queer joy, Rough Trade presents a large cast of indelible, diverse characters confronting the cost of desire, and Carrasco's is a fierce, original voice. Based on extensive historical research into the Pacific Northwest in the late 1800s, Carrasco's prose immersively reconstructs queer communities that might have been forming in working towns around the same time, painstakingly building a world that rings as true as it is deliciously escapist. Interesting. And this went on sale April 9th. So this is a fairly new novel still. So, yeah, kind of like a Western with a twist, right? Definitely trying to do the more inclusive thing here. So we'll see. I haven't had a chance to read it myself, but this could be an interesting entry into the Western oeuvre. So Rough Trade, Katrina Carrasco, out now. All right, gang. Well, that will do it for this historical fiction, I guess, here on the horizon now. Let me know what you thought of some of these titles. Anything you're going to add to your TBR, any questions you have that I can answer. And do let me know if anyone has read the Christopher Tillman book, On the Tobacco Coast. Well, you may not have read this yet, but have you read the other 3 books in this series? Really curious what you thought of it. Okay, guys, thanks for joining me here on another episode at the History Shelf. I'll be back soon. You can count on it. Take care. Bye bye.